I'm Inwood Lane. I'm known as the Gig Geezer. I can help you maximize your gig hustle. I also need your help. Hey, hit that subscribe button. Give my content a thumbs up. Spread my content with others. And I welcome your comments in the section below. And with that, let's get into this segment of the Gig Geezer. The question or the topic of this segment of the Gig Geezer is about whether customers should tip or not to tip. Now, the reason I'm coming out with this is because I just happened to recognize on my phone a article that was from the Daily Dot, in which a gig driver uploaded a couple of posts on TikTok showing how he or she reacts to customers who don't tip. The driver literally just drops the food, the person's items on the ground, and walk off. And there are a couple of captions to go with it. Quite honestly, that is something I've thought of doing. I've thought of just dropping the food on the floor on the ground when I recognize that I'm in a order situation in which the order did not pay what I thought it should have paid. I've also wanted to kick the food. Literally, kick it like a football. I've also wanted to vandalize their property. The most recent example of me going on Steam actually occurred last night on February 15th. So let me set this up. I'd accepted an Instacart order that I thought was a gimme. 7 items, and it had met my minimum preference of accepting an order. Then I saw a DoorDash order request from Ruth Chris Steakhouse. It definitely was in my sweet spot, and also was in what I consider a sweet spot for orders that typically pay more than what they're offering. Well, I canceled and went straight to Ruth Chris. Now, the order was being delivered to a hotel, but on my way to the hotel, I began thinking about this order in terms of would it really pay what I think it should pay. In fact, quite honestly, the order was for $8, 5 items. Among those was a couple of New York strip plates, a couple of plates of New York strip steaks. So you're thinking that this person's put out some money, and they're probably going to put out some money with a commensurate tip. Well, that order paid all of $8, and I was on steam. I was fuming. So much that when I got back to my vehicle, it took me several moments for me to come down from the rage that had built up within me. I thought that person had gotten over on me and, quite frankly, anyone else who had accepted that order. I mean, $5 tip on that type of an order? Well, you may say, hey, you made $8 on it. No. When you've completed thousands of deliveries like myself, if you're the type of person who makes the money that I make, I'm in the top 1% of gig workers across the country in terms of money made each month, each week, each day, or if you even want to use dollars per hour. You kind of have a very good feel for what no order should pay. And that one really got under my skin. But enough said. Once I got home, I happened to get a phone call from my daughter, and we got to talking about things from the day and from yesterday. And I mentioned to her how I was on steam about a customer whom I felt got over on me with a lower tip than what I thought should have been for the type of order. Well, my daughter kind of challenged me with my thinking on that. And the reason why she challenged me on my thinking with that, because she doesn't do gig work, but she works as a server at this night spot. She happens to be working towards her doctorate degree. But she tried to challenge me in looking at things differently, but I still couldn't get past the fact that, hey, this person, like many other customers out there, trying to get over on us. Now, the reason why I felt the way I did is because as it is right now, the climate, the gig economy climate is such that it is slow out here. the volume of orders aren't coming through as they did a year ago. The quality of orders aren't what they were a year ago. And quite frankly, it's really a test of one's ability to stick to their process in order to prevail each and every day that we're out here. Now, here's my take on that. First of all, I don't know how much was the order for. I don't know how much the amount was that the driver accepted the order for. My guess is if the order didn't tip, then that means the driver probably accepted a bottom dollar order, which is anywhere between $2 and $5. Now, I blame the driver for accepting that order in the first place. And I'll just leave it at that, because personally, I don't accept orders like that. I don't. And I've well documented my order preferences. I also want to put out there again that I've personally recognized that things were slowing down as early as mid-December. But I think a lot of drivers didn't truly recognize how things had slowed down until sometime last month in January. Now, the main thing I want to say early on right now is that what I think customers don't realize, what they really don't realize, is that much of what we make, at least 2/3 of what we make, is based on your generosity, your magnanimity, your largesse, the goodness of your heart. And for that, I am grateful for that. And I think a lot of people also would say they're grateful for your generosity. But there's also another side to that. And while there was much talk about that a year ago or even 2 years ago, it's becoming more prevalent now because of the changing of the economic climate. Now, the article note that with some of the replies of some customers, obviously, they said that they think we're company employees. And that one of the customers' replies was that, why aren't companies paying their employees? Well, here's the answer to that. We're not employees. We are independent contractors. We are self-employed. We do not get a W-2. We get a 1099 statement. If we make $600 or more in the previous year, we get a 1099 statement. We must account for our own taxes. We must account for our own expenses or whatever else. We are basically in business for ourselves. So we are not employees. Get that straight, customers. Also, understand that the fact that we are independent contractors, that is clearly articulated, clearly stated in the terms of agreement with any gig app that we are on. I will also, for clarification purposes, let you know, customers, that there were a couple of apps within as late as 2 years ago that did hire delivery drivers as W-2 employees. These two companies are Waiter and BiteSquad. Waiter is actually the parent company to BiteSquad. Both business models hired people in as W-2s, paid them dollars per hour. They had to wear a dork outfit and everything. They were basically employees of the company. They abandoned that business model. And now everyone who delivers on those platforms, they are also independent contractors, self-employed 1099s. Now, another customer said, why y'all blaming customers when you don't realize that DoorDash is the one scamming you guys, having you work for basically free? Well, I'm going to agree with you and disagree with you. I'll agree with you in that if we accept those bottom dollar orders, as what a lot of thirsties, and that's what I call them, those who accept those type of orders, they're thirsties. Those thirsties who accept those orders thinking that there's maybe a hidden tip or the gratuity of someone giving a cash tip, which occurs probably one, maybe twice out of 100 deliveries. If you accept those orders on a regular basis, you are thirsty, and yes, you are working for free. But since folk like me who don't accept those orders, I don't work for free. I'm not about to work for free. No. So, But then here's how some of the companies try to get over on us. There's a term that we call as stacked orders. That is when a company may give us an order opportunity to deliver to two people on a single order, and it shows as two orders, and then there's a pay amount for those two orders. I would say the plurality of times, not the majority, but the plurality of times, meaning that it could be anywhere between 25 and 35% of the time, what the companies will do is stick a low paying, bottom dollar, probably work for free type order in which the customer did not tip with an order with a customer who did tip. And I have seen, now with certain apps, you can actually see the breakdown of these orders. And when I recognized that what had happened was DoorDash in particular had put one of those with the other orders, I was fuming. And then to deliver it to the person who requested that I hand it to them with their nonchalant attitude about it infuriated me even more. Now, the trick to that is that there are situations where us drivers may have to back out of an order, cancel an order. And so you're almost stuck or obligated to deliver both orders because sometimes you don't know which one, depending on the app, is actually paying and the one that's not really paying. And that's happened to me as well. I'm also going to say, again, that you do have a point. There are people out there who are basically willing to work for free, and then they complain about how much or how little they're making. That's on them. So we move on. Speaking of scamming, it's you customers who oftentimes try to scam us drivers. Now you say, how do we feel that you're scamming us? The most common one, and one that can cause us to be deactivated, booted off these apps, is when you claim that you didn't receive your order. Now, it could be that we deliver the order, somebody come behind and steal your food. But we have the 99% of us have no interest in taking your food. Personally, I don't eat 99.98% of the food that I'm delivering. So it's nothing in it for me. But you and I have uploaded segments of the Gig Geezer in which I have caught customers engaging in fraudulent acts in which they turn around and claim that they didn't get the order or cancel the order. And when I delivered it to them, in fact, in one case, I actually placed it in a person's hand, and 45 minutes later, he claimed that he didn't get his order. Now, on other platforms, the same thing occur. And then the problem is that there's that term, the customer is always right. Well, y'all are not always right. But the unfortunate thing is that the gig companies don't really listen to us. No matter what we may show picture documentation. In some cases we may offer to show video documentation. And yes, there are apps out there, namely Uber and UberEats and Lyft and rideshare, in which they tell us outright that we don't care about your video evidence. So if we get that friendly, well-written email alert advising us that we have been deactivated, that's it. So, yeah, y'all do try to scam us. Another example on these apps is like Instacart. Not only do y'all claim that you don't get your order, sometimes you claim that you're missing items. And there's little tricks that y'all do in claiming that we didn't deliver the item. And I see that all the time. Now, one notorious example is that you get the order, you're in the process of shopping for the order, and then they start making additions while you're shopping. So you've got to go out of your way to get these additional items. You deliver them, and then the next day they'll turn around and say that these are missing items. And then what happens is that they claim that they're missing an item, and then, of course, Instacart is going to refund all or part of the order. But then we get a notice that items are missing or orders missing. And now we have to go back and try to fight that knock against us. Not to mention, sometimes y'all will take back all or part of the tips. That's on Instacart and UberEats. So y'all scam us. Y'all scam us big time, in fact. I mean, I had someone to take back half of a tip last night on UberEats. Why? I don't know. these apps empower you customers to do that. Now, another person says, well, when they see drivers do what they do in retaliation, and by the way, let me tell you, I do retaliate against customers as well. I'm not going to articulate how I do it, and I'm not going to articulate on which apps that I do it. But yes, I have my own way of retaliating against y'all as well to let you know that I didn't appreciate how little you paid. Yes. So, but anyway, the customer commented makes me not want to tip even more. Well, guess what? If you don't want to tip, if you don't like the way things are, go get your own food. That is the simple answer to all that. Get your own food. Because basically, even though you may not tip, or you tip very little, or you take back all or part of the tip, what you've basically said is that, okay, you did what you did the work, but we're not going to pay you. Okay, now on your job, if you put in your 40 hours or your pay period, your 2-week pay period, and when it comes time to payday, your employer says, well, I'm not going to pay you. That's going to be a problem. Am I right? But that happens to us on a regular basis. But here's the deal. What y'all don't realize, if maybe you don't realize it though, but basically we are the ones who are using our gas, using our time, using our money. We are the ones who, those of us who may go to get order from a McDonald's or Taco Bell or Burger King or Wendy's or something like that, or even Popeye or Bojangles, what have you. We're the ones who are in line waiting 20 minutes, 25 minutes. We're the ones who's burning our gas to bring it to you so that you can eat it, belch, and defecate. Yeah, I'm keeping it clean, but you get what I'm saying. So that you can do that for the convenience of you doing that. Again, we're the ones who get in line, burn our gas, utilizing our money, using our time so that you can eat, belch, yawn, scratch, and defecate. But then also we have to deal with some of you folk who make these quirky, crazy demands. We have to deal with the potential of a poor rating when we don't deserve one. And as I've already articulated about y'all either taking back all or part of the so-called tip that we were supposed to get anyway. Now, some of y'all claim that the food is expensive. Some of y'all claim that you don't have a vehicle. Well, why, if you're complaining about all that and then you're not willing to tip the person appropriately, why order the food? Why order the food? If you can't afford it, don't order it. If you can't afford it, don't order it. Don't take it out on us. Don't try scamming us. Because guess what? A lot of us are there's gonna be more examples of drivers retaliating against you customers. There are examples of drivers who have unfortunately too gotten deactivated as a result though, but have come back to confront you customers for doing that. Now, I don't advocate or condone that, but I understand why. I understand why. While we are 1099s, we are self-employed, we are in business for ourselves. This is a true hustle. This is a serious hustle. And you go out every day not knowing how much you're going to make. Those of us who have, I guess you can say, succeeded in doing this, we have figured out ways to make it work for us. We are on YouTube trying to share some of the things that we have learned or have accrued over the time that we've been doing these gig apps to try to help other people succeed as well. Some listen, some don't, some see it just for entertainment or whatever. But this is a hustle, and this is not for everyone. Because not everyone can deal with all the customers. Not everyone can deal with the uncertainty. Not everyone can deal with the inconsistency or what have you. Although, I mean, again, this is all dependent on what you do. But the fact is, this is not for everyone. But ordering on these gig apps is not for everyone either. And y'all need to take that in mind. Again, the question is about whether customers should tip or not. Should customers tip appropriately or not? I think they should. If you're gonna pay for the convenience, then walk the walk. It's as simple as that. Thank you for checking out this segment of the Gig Geezer. If you reach this point, it means that you've checked it out in its entirety, and it's very much appreciated, and it tells YouTube that you're very much engaged in my content. Hey, if you'd like to get in contact with me or pass on some other useful information, I can be reached at giggeezer3.5@gmail.com, or you can check me out on Twitter at giggeezer.